Microsoft Project is a way that we can manage projects with stakeholders. Stakeholders are anyone who has a stake in the project, people who work on the project, people who own the business, things like that. So I'm going to choose project from my list and go ahead and create my first project. There are lots of different templates for projects, just as in other Microsoft 365 apps, and we can click on more templates if you'd like. In this case, though, I want to create a blank project. Let's take it from the beginning. On the left-hand side, you see the tasks. On the right-hand side, you see what's called a Gantt chart, which is a visual representation of our project timelines and deadlines. I'm going to go up to File and save this as a project before I go too far, so that way I can get back into it again in case I have any issues. I'll call this project Education Course and click Save. And now it's time to set up my first task. Take a look at Task Mode. Task Mode allows us to create either an automatic task or a manual task. In most cases, we'll probably create a manual task, but it is possible to link tasks together and have them automatically get set. So I'm going to choose this task name, and the first task is going to be research. Since I'm creating an educational course, I need to do research on what I'm about to teach. Now I need to choose the duration, so I can say how long it's going to take to do research. I'll say research is going to take 5 days. It usually takes quite a while to make sure we have all of our facts straight. And now I'm going to choose the start and finish time. So I'll go ahead and start this, say on the 22nd, and it's going to automatically add 5 days to the finish. Now, predecessors are if I have any tasks that are dependent on this particular task, but this is my first one, so that wouldn't make any sense to add anything at this time. Now I have the resource names I can add in. And I'll go ahead and enter my name. Now, if I'd like, I can add additional columns as well. Take a look on the right-hand side. We now see the Gantt chart has some population in it, and it shows who it is that's going to be doing that work. So if I double-click on it, you can get some information on what's called the format bar, and that is I can change the color of things. I can change the pattern. I can change a lot of different things that has to do with the theme of my bar. So I'm just going to leave it as is and go on to the next one. The next step in creating an educational course is going to be to write the scripts. So I'll put in write scripts, and let's say another 5 days to write scripts. And I'm going to go ahead and start that on the 27th. It goes ahead and goes all the way 5 more days. And I'll put my name in again since I'm doing the work. So why did this show up on the left-hand side as being over-allocated? Well, because by default, we're only working Monday through Friday. Now, you can change that in the settings, or you can just say, fix this in the Task Inspector. And I'll say to just go ahead and move that. And now it started me up on Monday instead. So it worked exactly as expected. When I double click on a task, as I had just done, we get this task information box, and it gives us a lot of really good information, such as we can change the start and finish time. We can display on the timeline, hide the bar, roll up, all these different options. And once again, if there's any predecessors that will get in the way, I can go ahead and enter those here. And that's because you can do some tasks at the same time if you have more than one person. So I could be writing the scripts while somebody else creates the slides, for instance. Or we could say you cannot create the slides until the scripts are done. Now we have the resources. So you can see the resource name. That's the person that's going to be creating this. We can also add additional people here or just in the resource name box or cell when we get to that point. Under Advanced, I can set a deadline. I can say, yeah, I realize I have this set for 5 days, but I'd really want to create this deadline where it won't exceed that time frame. And now I can go into where it says Notes. Notes allows me to say what's happening. It's an update to what's happening with this particular task. And I'll go ahead and write in that I'm waiting on research before completing the scripts. Now I'm going to add my third task. And it's going to be to create the slides. So I'll type in create slides, and this one's only going to take a couple of days, but I'm going to start this before the end of my script writing. So I'm going to change this to 9:25. And then I'll realize, oh wait, I have not finished my research yet. So I'm just going to drag that over so it overlaps with the script writing. So we can create slides while the scripts are being written, but somebody else is going to be creating those slides. And then finally, we're going to record the videos. That's going to take a little bit longer. And we'll go ahead and start into the next month and finish on Friday. And that will be Robert. As these tasks are being completed, we can go over to our Gantt chart and we can start saying, hey, some of this has already been done. So I'm going to scroll the percentage over and say, oh, it's about 50% done. And you can see that dark line inside the blue line. You can also go in and say, you know what, I need different colors for each of these different tasks. So I'm going to change that to this orange one here and click OK. And I'll do the same for these other ones as well. And that can really help us when we are looking at the Gantt chart to make sure that we don't get any of these lines confused. Over on the left-hand side, I'm going to right-click on this information tab that says I'm still overscheduled, and I'm going to say auto schedule. Schedule this all out for me. And in this case, the reason why it jumped back the way it did was because I set that deadline to be on the date that you see here. So if I go back in and just change that deadline, and I can certainly change the shape of what we're doing here as well, all I have to do is just double click, go to advanced, and push this deadline out. So I'll push it out to later on in October. And now it's out. And if I'd like to, I can pick that back up again and move it to where it was, or I can go in and change that particular start and end time just by double clicking on Write Scripts. Now here's another interesting feature. It's allowing me to link these two different tasks. And I would like to link them because I do want the scripts to always follow research. So I'll click OK. Now you can see the link between the first and second task. So I can never push this task behind or at the same level of the predecessor task. Once all these tasks are complete, the education course project has been finished, then we can go ahead and save and close out our project, and we can share it with other stakeholders in the organization.